Hi guys, welcome to Sim Captain. Haven't done an unboxing video in a while, but I finally pulled the trigger and purchased my second Brunner CLS E force feedback yoke for the copilot side. So here's the unboxing. So one thing I didn't comment on the first time I unboxed one of these, and that is the incredibly good packaging job they do. It's really well protected in there. And it comes with the Ethernet cable, it comes with the USB cable, the power cable, which is a European plug, but they also give you the adapter for the United States plug. Oh, and something new. A nice keychain. That's cool. Appreciate that. The instruction booklet. And then the yoke itself. Anyway, going to take the old AC yoke out of here, and might have to do a little reconfiguring to accommodate the second yoke, but I'll come back with that in just a second. Alright, so here I've removed my AC yoke, and the reconfiguring shouldn't be too bad because I already have the monitors to the correct height to accommodate the box portion, or the mechanism portion of the yoke. So I'm just going to have to move one of the SciTech instruments and just do a little tweaking, figure it out. So see you in a sec. Okay, so now I've got the yoke in the position I like. It's a little bit off from the seat. I wish it was a little more centered, but I had to adjust because the base of the screen prevented me from going any further to the right. But I'm still excited, and I think it's going to look really good. So let's fire it up. Alright, and here's the part I really enjoy, the first initialization with the CLS to Sim software.
Alright, so we got our clearance. I'm going to do a quick flight on Vatsim to Pittsburgh. I finally got my yokes all set up and running and working perfectly. It's great. Check the flight controls, free and correct. I had a few issues getting it started, so it's actually been a couple days since I started the unboxing video. I needed a little help from the Brunner Innovations. I hope I'm saying their name right. Brunner. It's like the Cambrinix. Somebody told me it's like Cambridge and avionics, so Cambrinix is what I get out of that. Anyway, back to Brunner, which is...
4800, could you take runway 35 full length at 6,000 feet?
4800 firm, we can accept 35 for departure.
4800, roger. Taxi Alpha Delta, hold short runway 35, cross all active runways.
Alright, Alpha Delta to runway 35, cleared across the parallels, 4800. So back to what I was saying, the Brunner yokes, which is how I'm going to pronounce it. I thought it would just be as simple as plug in the second yoke because I already have one and I already have the software, so I would just plug in the second yoke, assign it as the copilot, and I'd be off. And it wasn't that easy, but it wasn't that complicated either. The issues I had when I first connected them one, I didn't realize, which is just my own foolishness, because they even have a segment in their manual called cabling, that the two yokes had to be connected to each.
Information hotel is now current at Philadelphia. Wind is 160 at 4, altimeter 3042.
That both yokes had to be connected to each other via a Ethernet cord, which they provided. But I got that down. You assign, one is the captain side, one is the first officer side, or pilot and co-pilot. Notify the cabin. We'll give them a call. And Philadelphia 4800, ready for departure 35.
Sarah, wind is 150 at 3, fly heading 300, runway 35, clear for takeoff.
Runway heading 35, we're clear for takeoff 4800. Alright,
4800, fly heading 300, runway 35, clear for takeoff.
correction 300 on the heading, 35 clear for takeoff 4800. Okay, 300 on the heading. Did he say that and I just completely blanked out? Must be what happened. Flaps are set, trims are set, lights are on, pumps are on. All throttles armed. Alright, we're gonna go. And airspeed's alive, both sides. 80 knot, cross check. 2 good engines, we'll continue. A V1, rotate. Positive rate, gear up. And gears in transit. Alright, got a stable climb, 400 above the ground, flaps are coming up. Flaps are up and indicated. We'll engage the autopilot. Heading 300, yaw dampener's on.
Altitude leaving.
At 4800, we're climbing through 2 for 5, and we're turning 300.
4800, radar contact, climb and maintain 2000.
Climb maintain 12 for 4800. So, then you have to assign one yoke as the pilot and the other as the co-pilot, or captain and first officer. And the way you do that is when you first power on the yoke, for the first 20 seconds, you go to the stopwatch page, and in that page, there will be a button called Setup. And you press that button, and then you can assign, it'll give you the options, is it pilot or co-pilot, and then you hit Commit. Once that's done and they're plugged in and you have the software, fundamentally that is all you need. They'll be auto-synchronized and you're running. And then I had some other minor issues, which were both yokes didn't have the same firmware. And for some reason I was having a hard time with that, but I reached out to the Brunner Innovations people, and they immediately sent back an email citing exactly where I needed to go with a link directly to it, and explained what I needed to do. And I had to open up the software where I connect to each yoke in this CAN. I'm sorry, I forget what it is. I have to look in a second. It was the CAN Opener Commander software, which they provided me the link to. And in there you connect to each yoke and you update the firmware, which was another link they provided me. And this only took a couple days because I guess the time difference there in Switzerland, I'm in the United States, so I'd email them and then they'd email me back the next day. I would do something and then have a problem and email them and then wait a day for them to email me back. But that's honestly pretty quick response. I mean, it took a few back and forths for them to help me out, but every time I had a question and sent an email, they responded within a day with an answer. So it was really great. And now everything is working perfectly. And boy, have I got to tell you, having that second yoke in my peripheral vision moving around even enhances more the sensation of movement. And my sim is true dual control. Now, in my first videos when I got my first yoke, I might have commented on how expensive it was. And the truth is, for what you're getting, it really, I guess, isn't that expensive. I mean, it is, but it isn't. I mean, if you live in Switzerland and you don't have to pay the extra shipping and taxes, say, you know, 1,850 euro, which I believe is what it costs on their site, is not a bad price for what you're getting. I mean, the quality of the product is really outstanding. And definitely the support behind it, too. So if you're thinking about buying one of these yokes, definitely buy with confidence, because if you have any issues, they will help you. So I kind of lost my train of thought for a second there, but because I'm just thinking here, I'm level at 22. I can speed up a little bit. Yaw dampener's on. Set these to flight. Turn the landing lights off. Turn the seatbelt sign off. Pumps are off. Where's green? Oh, I was talking about the expense. Oh, man, I'm having a hard time today. It's been a long day. So the expense I was talking about, if you live in Switzerland, it's probably not that bad. 1,850 euros for this quality product is not a bad price. But in the United States, after shipping and taxes and everything, this ends up being a $2,500 yoke. But even I think, quite frankly, that price is fair, considering the enormous enhancement this yoke gives you in flight sim. I mean, the yoke is really the most important feature of your sim. It's how you interact the most with flying the airplane. It's how you control the plane. So you want your yoke to really function well, feel good, and the force feedback is really outstanding. I think it works really well. This is only like my second flight using the yoke. I did do my inaugural flight, which was Friday night ops to Cleveland, but my battery died in the camera on the landing, and I didn't have another battery within arm's reach, so I couldn't leave the seat to go get the spare, which is on the table behind me, which taught me a lesson. I will keep a spare battery within arm's reach during Friday night ops. But the yoke performed perfectly. I really enjoyed it. You might have noticed a little bit of chatter in the yoke, and it does happen sometimes. Now, I was saying I don't know if it's still because I just really am only a little bit of time into it, and I haven't really messed with the settings or tweaked it. Maybe an adjustment does need to be made. But if you've ever seen a real yoke get tossed around in turbulence, I mean, they shake and rock it back and forth quite violently and fast. So I actually think that's very realistic, and I might not change the settings. I don't think that's anything that's wrong. I'll point it out if it happens again, but otherwise it operates very smoothly. We're descending into Pittsburgh. You know, another thing is, now that I have two of these yokes on the desk moving simultaneously synchronized, every time I hit bumps and turbulence, it kind of shakes the whole desk a little and kind of gives the whole cockpit a little bit of turbulence, and it's just kind of like a unintentional perk to having both of them with my particular setup, is it kind of gives you a little turbulence throughout the cockpit. Even I feel it in the throttles. It's actually really awesome. This is the part I really enjoy, is the landing segment.
Don't sink. Don't sink.
Alright, spoilers deployed. Reversers are out. There's 60 knots. 50 knots. Alright, well, that's arrival into Pittsburgh. Hope you like and subscribe, and until next time, happy landings.